Chapter 614. Extinguishing the Fire of Evil. It starts in the training yard at the estate. Ian was showing Angela how far her fire-bending powers have come. She was demonstrating a huge level of skill and power, and she was obliterating and incinerating statues and dummies that look like all the enemies we all killed, and the statues all exploded with incredible power, like they were being detonated with multiple pounds of C4, and the flames on the ground were burning ferociously afterwards. Her fire was blue and orange, and she had skills and moves that were incredible. Angela, well done Ian. Ian, thanks Aunt Angela. My fire-bending powers have evolved. I learned most of my abilities from Father and Uncle Iro. Angela, I had a feeling they taught you. I was considered a fire-bending prodigy when I was around 6 years old. Ian, I believe it. I was made a prodigy when I was 4, and I didn't let evil, arrogance, hatred, pride or all that get to me. Angela, I can tell. You are the antipode of me when I showed my skills in fire bending. Nicole arrived, and she was amazed at how far Ian's fire bending had come. Nicole, wow. You really went at the posts here Ian. Ian, sorry about that Nicole. Nicole, it's all right. But your skills in fire bending are impressive. Ian, thanks. Father never told me about this, but what was the battle you fought in during the 100 Years' War? Nicole, that was the Battle of Sozin's Comet. It's a special comet that only appeared once every 100 years. Sozin's Comet was the ultimate decisive factor in the war. It was named after your great-great-grandfather Fire Lord Sozin. It's a special comet that has a strange power that enhances all fire bending 100-fold. Ian, wow. That sounds like a strange comet. Nicole, it was, and we saw it when we became Team Cosmic Dragon. It looked like an enormous ball of fire streaking across the sky. When we faced Fire Lord Oze, we blew up Sozin's comet, and it stripped all the fire benders of their enhanced fire bending, and we defeated Oze with ease. Avatar Ong used an awesome form of bending called energy bending. It was bending of life force. Ian, that's incredible. Angela, I've heard about this. It was a long-lost form of bending that was thought to have been lost ages ago. That's amazing how he was able to do that. Nicole, it was phenomenal. The level of energy we felt was unbelievable, and Ong was able to use this awesome power to strip Oze of his fire bending, and it caused everyone to overthrow him, and it deposed him. Ian, and my father is now his successor. Nicole, that's right Ian. Angela, isn't Nico now a firebender as well? Nicole, he sure is. He has this awesome power to assimilate the powers and abilities of any bad guy we kill or capture. And Dad accidentally acquired the same power during the Nocturne Dream Scare. Ian, I remember that. Angela, I see. So JD and Nico are firebenders as well now. Nicole, yes. And fire makes us stronger because we have the power to absorb fire. Ian, that's what I saw. I want to destroy the evil Angela and Oze. Nicole, we can do that. But before we do, you have to know the whole story about the war and its primary purpose. Nicole, Ian, and Angela went into the estate and got some tea, and she revealed the whole story about the war and why it was caused. Nicole, it all started 138 years ago. 38 years prior to the beginning of the 100-Year War, Fire Lord Sozin began to feel that because his nation was so fortunate in so many ways, that he should share this prosperity with the rest of the world. He spoke about his plan to his best friend, Avatar Roku, and tried to convince him to join him on his quest to expand the most successful empire in history. Roku vehemently refused to help him and reminded his longtime friend that the 4 nations were meant to be just what they were, 4. Years later, however, Roku discovered that Sozin had set up colonies in the Earth Kingdom despite his warnings and went to rebuke him, leading Sozin to attack him. The Avatar subdued the Fire Lord, utterly destroyed his palace, and warned him that if he ever acted out of place and attacked the other nations again, he would put an end to him permanently. 25 years later, Roku's home island was consumed in a volcanic eruption so massive that Sozin could see and feel it from 100 miles away, and he flew in on his dragon to assist his old friend. The two used their bending to try to contain the lava flow, but they were hindered by poisonous gases that eventually overwhelmed Roku, leaving him lying on the ground and begging for his old friend's help. Sozin suddenly realized, however, that Roku's death would allow him to fulfill his plans, and he left the avatar to die. The new avatar was born into the air nomads as Ang. 12 years after Roku had died, Sozin used the return of a comet, a celestial event that grants firebenders near unlimited power, to deliver a devastating first blow to the other nations and start the war, setting the stage for the air nomad genocide. Fire Lord Sozin decided to launch his attack upon the arrival of Sozin's comet. With the power of the comet, Sozin's firebender armies launched a genocide on the pacifistic air nomads in an attempt to capture the new avatar, Ang, and to break the avatar cycle. This would overcome one of the Fire Nation's biggest obstacles to victory. However, Ang had run away before the attack, thus escaping the carnage. Almost all other air nomads were believed to have been killed in the attack, and the remainder ruthlessly hunted and killed as the 100-Year War progressed, by the end leaving Ang the only known airbender left alive. Sozin would continue searching for Ang up until his death. The air nomad genocide involved mass trooper and tank attacks on the 4 temples. Thousands of air nomads were slain along with their flying bison and lemurs. After the first strike against the air nomads, Fire Lord Sozin and his army began their first assaults into the Western Earth Kingdom. Sozin's main objective was to overcome the next avatar and secure a beachhead on the western coast of the continent and use it as staging grounds to advance further throughout the Earth Kingdom and to supply his forces. Other objectives were to cripple and destroy key Earth Kingdom trading centers to weaken the large Earth Kingdom economy. After several battles, including decisive Fire Nation victories in the Battle of Han Tui, the Battle of Garsai and the Battle for Taku, the Fire Nation was able to gain a strong foothold in the Earth Kingdom. The Fire Nation's war effort was focused at the Western Theater through the use of a large portion of the Fire Navy, but Sozin expanded northward and eventually was able to send forces to conduct an attempted invasion of the Northern Water Tribe 15 years after the 100-Year War began, which ended in failure due to the North Pole's treacherous landscape. The battle saw ground forces from both the Water Tribe and the Fire Nation confront each other directly. Fire Lord Ajalon took the throne after his father's death and began to advance south to the Southern Water Tribe and eastward toward the walls of Ba Sing Se. 40 years into the 100-Year War, the Fire Navy attacked the Southern Water Tribe, at that time a prosperous settlement. Their first attacks included the bombardment of several Water Tribe villages, but they later restricted their attacks to less costly surprise raids. Waterbenders across the South Pole fought the Firebenders, and the Fire Nation adopted a policy of eradicating waterbending from the South Pole entirely, taking all waterbenders prisoner, leaving the non-benders to fend for themselves. Among these prisoners was Hama, who notably developed a deep hatred for her captors but eventually escaped from captivity while waging her own personal war on them in secrecy. The Southern Water Tribe remained weak and the victim of constant raids, teetering on the edge of extinction. Eventually, the Fire Nation created the Southern Raiders, a brutal raiding force that pillaged and ravaged the coastlines of the South Sea, further weakening the Southern Water Tribe and devastating the at that time spared Southern Earth Kingdom. Soon, the Earth Kingdom came under many large-scale attacks, with the fall of the Huixin provinces furthering the Fire Nation's advances into the kingdom and putting them in control of the entire northwestern third of the continent. Thousands perished in massive violent battles during these campaigns. During the war's 94th year, the Southern Water Tribe was attacked in yet another minor raid aimed at eliminating any remaining waterbenders. The attackers, the infamous Southern Raiders, were informed that one last waterbender, who happened to be Katara, was left in the Southern Water Tribe, and were given orders to kill her. However, Katara remained undiscovered because, during this raid, her mother Kia turned herself in as the last waterbender in an attempt to protect Katara. Kia was in turn killed, but her heroic act meant that the Fire Nation would never discover the true identity of the last waterbender in the South Pole. Katara would later rediscover the Avatar and become a major contributor to the eventual capitulation of the Fire Nation as an indirect result of her mother's actions. In the Earth Kingdom theater, the Fire Nation enjoyed even more success, conquering every major Earth Kingdom city and stronghold until only Omashu, who hindered any major overland progress in the east, and Ba-Sing Se were left. The Fire Nation army also pushed down further south, conquering most of the southwestern coastlines. General Shu and his troops even advanced into the vicinity of the Si Wang Desert, fighting Earth Kingdom forces there. Finally, the Fire Nation army reached the walls of Ba-Sing Se itself, and the 600-day siege of Ba-Sing Se began. In its final stages, the Fire Nation even managed to break through the outer wall, but their advance ended when their leader General Iroha's son was killed, resulting in Iroha's order to retreat. However, the order was also motivated by the fact his army was fatigued and had been embroiled in continuous fighting for so long. In the last years of the war, the ferocity of the 100-Year War eased slightly with the Fire Nation nearing victory. Oze was crowned Fire Lord upon Ajalan's death. Iroha's forces retreated from the area of Ba-Sing Se, although they remained in control of the Western Lake, where they began construction of a drill to help them penetrate Ba-Sing Se's outer wall. The northern mountains were left alone, allowing refugees to move in. However, the conquered western shore of the Earth Kingdom was put under tighter control, where General Fong's fortress was the only Earth Kingdom military base left, hidden in a coastal mountain range. Several fortified bases were set up there. Prince Zuko began his search for the Avatar upon his banishment 3 years before, hoping to reclaim his throne. Zhao, an eager and ambitious naval officer, began plotting the conquest of the Northern Water Tribe. Any attempt at rebellion was dealt with harshly, and the Fire Nation began arresting any earthbenders in their territory, forcing them into slave labor on offshore factories and shipyards. To add to the Earth Kingdom's troubles, a large number of their villages and cities were now under Fire Nation control, with their native citizens forced to obey the demands of the Fire Lord if they were to avoid persecution. Only non-essential territories were left alone. Even though major cities like Ba-Sing Se and Omashu remained free at the time, the Fire Nation clearly controlled the majority of the continent, free to prowl almost anywhere in the north and west unopposed. The fortunes of the Earth Kingdom and the Water Tribes made a turn for the better with the sudden return of the Avatar and Last Airbender, Aang, who was rediscovered by Sokka and Katara. This immediately attracted the attention of both Zuko and Zhao, who chased him across the world. As the Avatar traveled north to the North Pole in an attempt to learn waterbending, Zhao was promoted to Admiral. A small Fire Nation force attacked the northern mountains, only to be beaten back in what culminated as the battle for the Northern Air Temple. However, the defeated force did acquire an important new invention for the Fire Nation, the hot air balloon. Upon discovering that the Avatar had succeeded in reaching the North Pole, Zhao ordered his massive fleet to advance on the North Pole. However, the siege of the North was unsuccessful due to the Avatar's intervention, and the fleet was nearly entirely destroyed. Zhao was subsequently imprisoned in the spirit world by La, the ocean spirit, after an unsuccessful attempt to kill the moon spirit in a bid to neutralize the waterbender's power. With the Fire Nation's main ambition in the north out of the picture and their control of the seas weakened, the Fire Nation refrained from further attacks on the Northern Water Tribe. However, as the Northern Water Tribe did not participate in any major engagements against the Fire Nation for the rest of the war, and the Earth Kingdom Navy was already all but obliterated, the loss of Zhao's fleet meant a bearable defeat. Oze had his armies continue the slow and steady advances on all the Earth Kingdom fronts, while discreetly sending his daughter to search for the traitorous Iroh and Zuko. Soon after the defeat at the North Pole, the Fire Nation won a great victory by conquering the city of Omashu, capturing King Bumi in the process, leaving Ba-Sing Se the last major Earth Kingdom city in the north unconquered. Though most of the city's population managed to flee under the ruse of a plague, the city itself remained under the control of a Fire Nation governor and was renamed New Oze by Princess Azula. The Fire Nation's next major battle would be at the walls of Ba-Sing Se once more. The drill, a powerful and gigantic mechanized siege weapon, attacked the outer wall. However, the Avatar had just arrived. Though the machine succeeded in drilling through the wall, it was destroyed by the Avatar, making the attack a failure and filling the newly drilled hole with wreckage. Princess Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee, a trio of the Fire Nation Academy's best, infiltrated the capital of Ba-Sing Se. Clad in Kyoji warriors' uniforms, stolen from the warriors after having defeated them in an earlier engagement, Azula infiltrated the court of the Earth King and undermined the Dai Li. She eventually convinced Long Feng to launch a coup d'état against the Earth King. In the end, she double-crossed him and assumed control over the capital. She also succeeded in capturing her uncle and convincing Zuko to rejoin the Fire Nation, clouding his judgment by promising him his father's love. With Ba-Sing Se under their control, the Fire Nation was even closer to victory, with only the tattered water tribes and parts of the Earth Kingdom left opposing them. Azula also learned that Ba-Sing Se had been planning a major invasion of the Fire Nation home islands on the day of a solar eclipse in late summer, which would briefly leave all firebenders powerless. With the Western Navy still recovering from the siege of the North, the invasion might have been successful had the Dai Li not arrested the Council of Five. Still, with knowledge that their homeland would still be vulnerable, the Fire Nation made plans to use this to their advantage. Additionally, Avatar Aang was gravely injured in a failed attempt to defeat Azula, who struck him down with a powerful lightning blast. Although Katara was able to revive him, Aang remained in a coma in the following weeks, and he was immediately presumed dead by the entire world. When word of Aang's defeat spread across the globe, the Earth Kingdom and Water Tribes lost hope and the Fire Nation came close to declaring victory in its imperialist war. Aang and his friends traveled into the Fire Nation incognito until the time to strike came again. Several weeks later, Ozai called a war meeting with his generals. One of them, Shinu, said that while Ba-Sing Se had been conquered, a number of Earth Kingdom rebellions arose and that the Earth Kingdom military was still controlling vast swaths of territory, including the southern Earth Kingdom and scattered areas in the north, which kept the Fire Nation from claiming ultimate victory in the 100-Year War. When Zuko said that the Earth Kingdom could endure anything as long as they had hope, Azula said they should take their precious hope, and the rest of their land, and burn it all to the ground. Ozai, using this idea, planned to use the power of the returning Sozin's Comet to completely destroy the Earth Kingdom. Though the Fire Nation controlled great swathes of territory, they were not unopposed. A small multinational invasion force led by Chief Hellcat of the Southern Water Tribe and the Avatar assaulted the Fire Nation capital on the day of Black Sun, and they were nearly successful, but their supposed success was actually a carefully planned trap by the Fire Nation. Though they were repelled by the new Fire Nation Air Force of airships and most of the resistance leaders were captured, they proved that the Fire Nation could continue to be resisted as long as hope was maintained. However, the day of Black Sun was not a total failure for those resisting the Fire Nation. During the eclipse, the captured King Bumi saw the opportunity he had been waiting for. He broke out of his prison and, with the firebenders unable to firebend, retook the city of Omasha single-handedly. Iroh also broke out of his cell and, according to a guard, fought as a one-man army. Prince Zuko realized the full extent of the Fire Nation's crimes and joined the Avatar, agreeing to teach Aang firebending before the anticipated battle with the Fire Lord. This development only increased the threat the Avatar posed toward the Fire Nation. Coinciding with this, Princess Azula was betrayed by her allies, Mai and Ty Lee, after a failed sabotaging of an escape from the boiling rock, badly hurting both her psyche and her leadership ability. Fire Lord Ozai crowned himself Phoenix King prior to the arrival of Sozin's Comet and appointed Azula to be his successor as Fire Lord. Ozai intended to finish the 100-Year War by using the Comet's immense power to vanquish his enemies, so the Avatar's group, one of the Fire Nation's greatest threats, acted quickly to prevent this catastrophe. When Sozin's Comet made its return to the world, Ozai launched his massive attack on the Earth Kingdom with his armada of airships. When he arrived at the Wolong Forest, which he quickly proceeded to incinerate, Avatar Aang confronted him. Despite Aang's pleas to end the 100-Year War peacefully, Ozai attacked him. At first, Oze and Ong were evenly matched, but Ong refused to go on the offensive due to his belief that all life was sacred. Oze gained the upper hand, but accidentally smashed Ong into a rock that hit the scar on his back where Azula had struck him with lightning at BGV. This released the pent-up energy there and opened his 7th chakra, allowing Ong to enter the Avatar state. Using the Avatar state's power, Ong went on the offensive. Despite his enhanced fire bending, Oze was quickly overwhelmed and forced to retreat. Ong pursued him and eventually pinned him down. But just as he was about to deliver the finishing blow, Ong left the Avatar state. Instead of killing Oze, Ong used energy bending to strip him of his fire bending. While Ong and Oze fought, 3 members of the Avatar's group, Sokka, Toph, and Suki, hijacked one of the airships in Oze's armada. Rammed the airship into the ones next to them, they successfully destroyed the fleet. The Order of the White Lotus, under Iroha's leadership, successfully retook BGV, a colossal defeat for the Fire Nation. Azula, after losing the alliance of Mai and Ty Lee, was weakened by a state of mental instability. This caused her to lose all trust in everyone, developing severe paranoia and coming to the belief that everyone was against her. She banished all those loyal to her, and in effect, had no allies or external protection. This rendered her unable to effectively fight Zuko and Katara, resulting in Zuko's victory in their Agni Kai and taking her place as Fire Lord. She suffered a mental breakdown immediately after the conclusion of their fight, making her incapable of continuing to fight in the 100-Year War. With the loss of Omashu, BGV, and the fall of their leaders, the Fire Nation armies found themselves unable to continue the war effort, leaving the Water Tribe and the Earth Kingdom victorious. After these victories, all the prisoners of war were released and Zuko was crowned Fire Lord, officially declaring the war to be over. At his coronation, he promised before a large audience of the world's citizens that he would dedicate his rule to rebuilding the war-torn world with the help of Avatar Aang. After being defeated by Aang, Fire Lord Oze was arrested and put in prison, and Azula had been institutionalized in a mental health facility on an isolated island near the Fire Nation capital. However, after a century of fighting, all 4 nations were left exhausted from the conflict. Over the course of the war, the Fire Nation had caused unprecedented worldwide devastation and loss of life, annihilating an entire nation, its culture, and unique bending style, leaving only one person to represent it, devastating an entire continent and oppressing its people, and bringing a nation to near extinction. Numerous people on both sides of the conflict died over the course of the war, and immense devastation occurred to the overall infrastructure of the Earth Kingdom and Southern Water Tribe, while little occurred to the Fire Nation and the Northern Water Tribe. The world thus began the long process of rebuilding in places including BGV, the Earth Kingdom, and the Southern Water Tribe. As Fire Lord Zuko stated, the world would have a lot of rebuilding to do, but the war was finally over. The Harmony Restoration movement was created as a step toward peace and removing the Fire Nation colonies from the Earth Kingdom. However, after seeing all the hard work his people have done within, Fire Lord Zuko removed his support from the movement. This decision started a confrontation that threatened to throw the world back into war, causing Avatar Aang to intervene. After a brief skirmish, an agreement was reached, which eventually led to the Fire Nation colonies being transformed into the United Republic of Nations. Nicole, and it was thanks to the arrival of Team Cosmic Dragon that we were able to destroy Sozin's Comet, overthrow Fire Lord Oze and stop Azula's wicked reign from even beginning. Ian, wow. That is horrible. I can't believe that my great-great-grandfather would cause such a series of horrific travesties to unfold. Azula, and I was turned into a homicidal psychopath. Nicole, yet. But my father and Ian saved you from the darkness that had consumed you for years, and Lily repaired the psychological damage that was dealt. Azula, it's good they did. Nicole, it's gonna take decades for the 4 nations to recover, and it's gonna take a long time for the air nomads to begin its restoration. Ian, I know. It's horrible that they were nearly wiped out. Nicole, no kidding. Let's head to the simulator. Ian, okay. They went to the simulator. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the simulator room we were getting ready. I was applying a special sealing jutsu to Ian and she'll find out what it does later. I invited Avatar Ong, Katara, Sokka, Suki, Toph, and the members of the Order of the White Lotus to come and watch. Iroh, thank you for inviting us to watch JD. Me, you're welcome Iroh. We're going to help fight in the major battles of the 100-year war. Lori, this is literally gonna be exciting to see. Me, yep. Me, very, Nicole, Naruto, Sakura, Fu, Rin, Ino, Hinata, Akiko, Suzuki, Yakumo, Natsumai, Hokuto, Isaribi, Ami, Juri, Yamako, Nico, Lori, Lily, Tara, Lincoln, Lainey, Earth, Lola, Tyranny, Sam SL, Ian, Aline C, Shago, Carey, Francis, Firestar, Jean Grey, Ink, Snake Man, Rhino, Bisley, Poison Ivy, Shocker, Demona, Clayface and Teresa went into the simulator. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Battle 1. Siege of the North. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. It activated and we found ourselves in the Northern Water Tribe. It was cold but we persevered. Me, wow. So this is the Northern Water Tribe. Lori, it is literally amazing here. Me, it sure is. Lily, yet. Lincoln, so what battle was here JD? Me, from what I remember, this was the site of the deadly siege of the North. It was a fierce battle between the members of the North Pole Water Tribe and the forces of Admiral Joe and the Fire Nation Navy. Ian, this will be the first battle we fight. Me, yep, but let's get Lily to train in waterbending. I've always wanted to add more skills to our repertoire of abilities and expand our skills. An elemental bending will be perfect for us. Lily, good idea. Katara, from the control room, telepathically, Lily, it's me Katara. Lily, in her head, I hear you loud and clear Katara. Nice to know our mental links are working. Katara, they are. You can learn from Master Paku. He's a great waterbending master and he'll teach you all you need to know. Lily, okay. We went to find Katara and she found us and began to attack us. Me, whoa. Katara, take it easy. Katara, about to throw water, I know this kind of trick. Nice try. But you're not gonna fool us, Oze. Shago, hey, take it easy. And did you just say Oze? Me, okay, that's enough. We mean you all no harm and we are not with the Fire Nation. Just let us explain. We did so in Katara, and Sokka apologized. Katara, I'm sorry we attacked you. Me, it's okay Katara. We should introduce ourselves. We did so. Katara, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. Same here. Sokka, yet. Katara, Ian, I didn't know you were related to Zuko. Ian, yes. He's my father and I'm a powerful firebender. You think you can convince your father to teach me firebending? Ian, I sure can. We found Master Paku and Lily was learning so much from him. She learned all kinds of awesome moves in waterbending never thought possible. Lori, wow. Lily is literally learning a lot of moves in waterbending. Me, she sure is. If you want Lori, I can teach you how to use airbending. Lori, thanks I would like that. Lori trained hard in using airbending. Me, you guys are learning fast. Lola, they sure are JD. Suddenly black snow came down. Me, uh-oh. It's soot and snow. The Fire Nation is coming. We flew up and saw a black cloud of smoke and we saw over the horizon a huge armada of Fire Nation ships heading towards the North Pole Water Tribe. Me, we got company guys. The Fire Nation is here. The Northern Water Tribe got its forces ready and we're gonna be ready to defend the Water Tribe. Me, stand ready guys. This time we're the reinforcements. Nico, we sure are. Nicole, and this is gonna be a great fight. Lincoln, yep. We stood ready and then we saw a huge fireball coming towards us. I fired an energy blast at the fireball and destroyed it in a huge explosion. Krabuhuayam. Saka, nice shot JD. Me, thanks Saka. Ian, I got this. Ian did some breathing and a huge ring of fire formed around her and it intensified at an incredible level, and then she formed a massive fireball and fired it at the ship and blew it apart into 1,000 pieces in a huge explosion. Krabuhuhuhuayam. Me, that did it. But we're not out of the woods yet. Here comes the rest of the fleet. That was amazing. Saka, it kind of feels amazing having a firebender on our side. Nico, it sure does. Ian, let's blow the rest of the fleet apart. Ian, right. JD, we have to get my father out of there. Me, you got it. Lincoln, Lola, Lainey, Earth, get Zuko and Iro out of there. Lincoln, if you come across Admiral Joe, take him down. Lincoln, you got it JD. Lainey, let's go. They flew towards the fleet and they were on the ship of Admiral Joe. Lincoln fired blasts of lightning and electrocuted some of the crew and blew them apart. Earth fired globs of lava and burned them as well. Lainey wrapped them in bramble vines and Lola burned them. They ran throughout the ship and blew the crew members apart, and they saw Iro and Zuko. Lincoln, Iro, Zuko, thank goodness we found you. Zuko, why is that? Lola, we have some grim news to tell you. We can explain it when you two come with us. But the world is now in grave danger in the coming weeks. Iro, what do you mean? Lincoln, I'll show you through my eyes. Lincoln's eyes glowed and he showed both of them the events of the future that are gonna take place. When it was done, Zuko and Iro were horrified. Iro, Oze is gonna do all that? Zuko, Father, you're a pure evil monster. Thank you for showing us this. Lincoln, you're welcome. Let's go. They went to the front of the ship and they saw Admiral Joe. Lincoln, Admiral Joe. Joe, that's right. Lincoln, I got this, guys. Lincoln was now facing Admiral Joe. Lincoln, I had a feeling we would face you. Lincoln did some stances and he fired a huge blast of fire and it was too strong for Joe and it completely incinerated him in an instant. Iro, wow. Your fire bending is really strong. Zuko, that was very impressive. Lincoln, I may only be 11 but I'm talented. Lainey, he's a great big brother. Lola, Linky sure is. Lincolns, let's go. Earth and Lincoln carried them off the ship and to the water tribe. Me, they have them. Now Nico. Nico, right. Cups hands to side, K-A-A-A. Me. Hey-A-A-A. Me. Ian did some stances and she had a huge blast of fire ready. Nico, hey a a a a a a a a a a a. Nico fired a red Kamehameha wave and Ian fired a huge blast of fire and the blasts combined and turned into a fire Kamehameha wave and it hit the water in front of the ships and blew the whole fleet of ships away in a tremendous explosion of fire, steam, and water. Crab Me, yet. That did it. Sokka, it sure did. Katara, that's it for them. Me, yep. We might have won the battle but the war is not over yet. Sasuke, no it's not. And when we face Oze, we'll be ready for him. Naruto, Oze will pay for causing all this. Me, he sure will bro. Zuko and Iroh landed by us and we introduced ourselves and explained everything. Zuko, I had no idea Oze is that evil and he's going to use Sozin's comet to destroy the world. Lainey, we won't let him get away with all the pain and suffering he has caused over the years. Lola, no we won't. We will end him for this. Fu, and we have to make sure that he gets a one-way ticket to hell. Zuko, and he will. We also have to kill my sister too. Me, I know. I know it goes against your ways to kill, but if we don't stop Fire Lord Oze, then the entire world will have no future. We have no choice but to kill him. Sarcastically, well, if anyone has any idea on how to defeat the Fire Lord without killing him, I'd be glad to hear them. Nico, you won't have to worry about that. Because after we're done with him, we can just chuck him in our Neptune prison. Now getting angry, just stop it, okay? You're just saying that to make me feel better. Nico, I'm not kidding. We can actually do that. Telepathically to the others. I know that doesn't like cling people. So for now, I'm going with the non-lethal option. I nod. Me, let me explain. I did so. So there's a version of Oze already in one of your prisons? Rhino? Yep. That means we can kill the one running around without any serious consequences to the timeline. Size and acceptance, all right. But promise me that you will let me help you in fighting him and that you will make his death quick and painless. Nico, don't worry. We'll keep that promise. Me, and Oze and Azula are gonna pay for their crimes. We got ready. Soon the battle that will decide the fate of the world will begin. Teresa, telepathically okay, Azula. Most of us don't know our way around this world. So you'll have to guide us. From the control room. Azula, telepathically don't worry. Just follow my instructions and you'll be okay. Principal Lewis, telepathically, and while you guys are there, can you see if you can find any cute firebender girls? Teresa, creeped out, okay. I'm gonna pretend I never heard that last part. We got to training hard. Was being trained too. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Battle 2. The Day of the Black Sun. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We found out recently from Katara in the control room that a solar eclipse was scheduled to happen in the coming months before the arrival of Sozin's comet. Me, guys, I found out something really interesting. Katara, what is it, JD? Me, I know how we can take down some of the Fire Nation and cripple some of their forces to a substantial degree beyond repair. In the months ahead there's going to be a total solar eclipse, and when that happens it will render all firebenders completely powerless. Sokka, of course. Whenever there's an eclipse all firebenders lose their bending. Me, that's right. But when the moon passes in front of the sun, we only have 8 minutes to act before the firebenders get their bending back. That doesn't give us a lot of time. Lola, no it doesn't. Rin, but this might be the moment we need. Lily, I have a feeling it just might work. Sam SL, it's our only chance. Akiko, and we can do it. Ian, now I know what that seal was that you put on me was for. It's to prevent the eclipse from taking my fire-bending abilities. Me, that's right, Ian. Naruto, that's really clever. Sakura, it sure is, and I have a feeling that this plan just might work. Me, it will. We got to the capital of the Earth Kingdom, Ba Sing Se, and we told the leader of the Earth Kingdom how to take down the forces of the Fire Nation. I see. So this eclipse will render all the firebenders powerless. Me, that's right, Emperor Ki. The eclipse was called the darkest day in the history of the Fire Nation, and this'll present us with a huge golden opportunity to take down the Fire Nation forces. Ki, good idea, JD. We appreciate you giving us this information. Me, but the eclipse will only last for 8 minutes, so we have a very narrow window of opportunity. Ki, so it appears. Very well. We will ready our forces for this attack. Thank you. We decided to train in Ba Sing Se until then. A blind earthbender named Toph was with us, and she also has a unique form of bending called metal bending. Me, here's what we do. We're going to attack 3 days before the eclipse. We have a lot of prisoners to break out of the boiling rock before then. If we run into Azula, Let Ian face her. Lincoln, what's the boiling rock? Me, it's the Fire Nation's version of Alcatraz prison in San Francisco, California. It's called the Boiling Rock because it's an island prison on a rock pillar in the middle of an active volcano filled with scalding hot water. An island prison like that is extremely dangerous as hell. That sounds like a place I wouldn't want to visit. Phew, me neither. Sakura, same here. Lola, I've always wanted to do a prison riot. Me too. Lincoln, this is gonna be a tough battle. Me, it is. We trained long and hard, and we also discovered that Sakura was an earthbender, Ino was a firebender, Hinata was a waterbender, and Naruto was an airbender. We trained diligently until the 3 days prior to the eclipse came. Me, this is it guys. Let's go. We set out for the Boiling Rock. It was located in the northern Fire Nation. We arrived at the island of the Boiling Rock. It was just as I deceived it. Me, that's it. Zuko, yep. That's the Boiling Rock. It sure does live up to its name. Me, yep. And it's about to come crashing down. Let's go. We went toward the prison and saw all the prisoners rioting. Me, looks like a riot broke out. Let's go. We fired laser blasts, energy beams, fire blasts, water blasts, air blasts, rocks and stones, and more. Lincoln, eat lightning. Lincoln fired blasts of lightning and electrocuted the firebenders there. I snapped my fingers and beamed the prisoners to Sing Se. Ian, you will never imprison another soul again. Me, you said it, Ian. I fired a blast of energy right at the prison and it hit it and exploded with incredible power. Crab. When the smoke cleared, the island was nothing more than a crater in the ocean. Tyranny, that takes care of that prison. Me, yep. Nicole, they deserve to spend all of eternity in hell. Me, yep. Let's head back and mobilize our forces for the invasion on the Fire Nation. We did so. Back in Sing Se, we got ready for the fight that would cripple the Fire Nation. Sokka was reunited with his friend Suki, a member of the famous Kyoji warriors. When the day came, we set out for the Fire Nation. Me, this is it guys. I look at the sun and it was starting to be overshadowed by the moon. Me, the eclipse has begun. There's no turning back now. We flew into the Fire Nation. Me, fire. I fired energy waves and blew some of the buildings and houses apart into flaming rubble. We threw rocks and fired fire blasts, energy blasts, and more, and blew buildings apart left and right. Explosions were blowing apart everything and burning everything down to the ground. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. 2 minutes earlier, Oze was gathering his forces for another attack. Oze, General Shinu, I want your forces ready for a full assault on the Earth Kingdom. General Shinu, yes sir. Suddenly massive explosions were felt. General Shinu, we're under attack. Oze, all units ready for battle. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. I fired energy blasts and fire blasts, and Ian fired lightning and fire blasts and blew apart lots of buildings. Lincoln fired lightning and Earth fired globs of lava and blasts of lightning. Nico fired blasts of energy and fire. The whole of the Fire Nation was turning into a raging inferno. The firebenders saw us. Soldier 1 points to us. There. Attack. But just as they were about to attack, the sun was blocked out by the moon and their fire bending was completely neutralized as their flames vanished. Me, let's go. We have 8 minutes. I had the timer countdown on my watch and we blasted apart the soldiers and killed them. Ian was firing huge blasts of fire and incinerating the soldiers at an incredible rate, and the body count was rising fast. I fired blasts of energy and blew apart some of the houses and more. Lincoln and Earth fired lightning and lava and blew apart some of the landscape. The whole Fire Nation capital was engulfed in a raging inferno. Well. Looks like you ambushed us well. We saw Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee. Me, Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee. Lincoln, looks like you found us first. Me, I have a message for Fire Lord Oze. Oze, what is it you wish to tell me? Me, Fire Lord Oze. So we meet at last. Yes. I have a message for you. My message is this. When Sozin's comet arrives, we're gonna make sure you never terrorize this world ever again. We're gonna fight and you will die and burn in the fire of hell. Oze, alright. Me, you will pay for your crimes. Oze ran fast. I appeared in front of him and we both engaged in a powerful sword fight. We were clashing our swords and sparks were flying everywhere. But he jumped over me and ran. Nico pulls out Shan Yu's sword. Fire Lord Oze, you have failed this world. Me, no Nico. Let him go. He'll get what's coming to him when the time comes. And Mai, Ty Lee, why do you follow a heartless witch like Azula? Mai, because she's our best friend. Me, answer me this. Would a best friend use fear and evil to command you? Mai and Ty Lee knew I was right and Mai punched Azula in the face and Ty Lee used her chi block jab on her. Shago then punched Azula in the stomach. Azula got up but was weak and she was being helped up by some guards, and just as they were about to arrest Mai and Ty Lee, I had my sword pointed at them. Me, don't even think about it. I looked at my watch and there was only 3 minutes left. Azula, I never expected this from you, Mai. The thing I don't understand is why? Why would you do it? You know the consequences. Mai, I guess you don't know people as well as you think you do. But JD opened my eyes to the kind of monster you really are. You control people with fear and that makes you an evil witch. Azula then started to become unhinged. Ian kicked Azula in the face and she went rolling and she crashed into a house on fire. Azula got up and she saw Ian. Ian, Azula, I will never forgive you for everything you have done. Ian then formed a sword made of pure blue fire and she spread angel wings made of pure fire. Ian, you will pay for everything you've done, and when we fight you will face a firebender unlike anything you've ever seen. Me, and we'll make sure that happens. We teleport out of there when there was 5 seconds left on the eclipse. Our invasion was a success. Now all we had left to worry about was Sozin's comet. We dealt the Fire Nation a devastating and crippling blow to their forces. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Battle 3. Sozin's comet. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. At the beach we were relaxing and enjoying our time. We saw Zuko and Ong fighting each other. Nico broke up the fight. Francis, I thought you two would never help break this fight up. Zuko, look, kid, I don't want to fight you. This doesn't even concern you to begin with. Ian, of course it does. Zuko, hang on. Why do you look familiar? Ian, because I'm your daughter, silly. Zuko, my daughter? I see. Faints. Zuko woke up to see us and Team Avatar, who are still in their swimsuits, staring at him. Sokka, dude, you want to explain what just happened? Zuko gets up. Well, apparently, I have a daughter. Toph, that's not we meant. But I know you're telling the truth, so I have questions about that later. Shocker, okay. Let's just all take a deep breath. To Zuko, now, Zuko, why don't you calmly tell us why you were attacking Ong when you two have patched things up? Katara, not calmly yet, Zuko. What the heck is wrong with you? Zuko, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with all of you? Aside from the newcomers, why are you sitting around having beach parties when Sozin's comet is only a few days away? Me, it's the calm before the storm, Zuko. I know we have a huge fight ahead of us, but we might as well enjoy the time we have before the fight while it lasts. That's right. And Zuko? About Sozin's comet. I was actually gonna wait to fight the Fire Lord until after it came. Zuko shocked. After? Nicole, what are you saying I'm not ready. I need more time to master fire bending. Toph, and frankly, your earth bending could still use some work too. Grimaces. Zuko, so, you all knew was going to wait? Me, not all of us. Lincoln, we didn't know he was gonna do this. Sokka, honestly, if tries to fight the Fire Lord now, he's going to lose. Looks over to Sokka as he says this, frowns, and closes his eyes in defeat. To no offense. Katara, the whole point of fighting the Fire Lord before the comet was to stop the Fire Nation from winning the war, but they pretty much won the war when they took Ba-Sing Se. Things can't get any worse. Zuko, you are wrong. Turns away from them. It's about to get worse than you can even imagine. Lainey, what are you saying, Zuko? Zuko, Father is going to use the power of Sozin's comet to completely annihilate the Earth Kingdom. Flashes back to one day before the day of Black Sunday. Servants help Zuko get dressed on his way to a meeting. Once done, they stay behind and bow to him as he walks on. Voiceover. The day before the eclipse, my father asked me to attend an important war meeting. It was what I dreamed about for so many years. My father had finally accepted me back. Oze, welcome, Prince Zuko. We waited for you. Zuko walks up to his father. He bows to Oze and sits down next to him. General Shinu, your report. Shinu, thank you, sir. Stands up and walks up to the opposite side of Oze across the table. Ba-Sing Se is still under our control. However, Earthbender rebellions have prevented us from achieving total victory in the Earth Kingdom. Oze, what is your recommendation? Shinu, our army is spread too thin, but once the eclipse is over and the invasion defeated, we should transfer more domestic forces into the Earth Kingdom. Oze, Prince Zuko, you've been among the Earth Kingdom commoners. Do you think that adding more troops will stop these rebellions? Zuko, the people of the Earth Kingdom are proud and strong. They can endure anything, as long as they have hope. Oze, yes, you're right. We need to destroy their hope. Zuko, well, that's not exactly what Azula, I think you should take their precious hope and the rest of their land and burn it all to the ground. Oze, yes. Cuts to Azula looking pleased. Yes, you're right, Azula. Stands up and walks to the world map. Sozin's comet is almost upon us, and on that day, it will endow us with the strength and power of 100 suns. No bender will stand a chance against us. Shinu, what are you suggesting, sir? Oze, when the comet last came, my grandfather, Fire Lord Sozin, used it to wipe out the air nomads. Cut to Zuko. Now, I will use its power to end the Earth Kingdom. Zuko looks astonished. Cut back to Oze smiling permanently. The shot changes to an aerial view of the map which Oze walks to the center. From our airships, we will rain fire over their lands, a fire that will destroy everything, and out of the ashes, a new world will be born, a world in which all the lands are Fire Nation and I am the supreme ruler of everything. War generals applaud. Zuko, voiceover. I wanted to speak out against this horrifying plan, but I'm ashamed to say I didn't. Fade to the present. My whole life, I struggled to gain my father's love and acceptance, but once I had it, I realized I'd lost myself getting there. I'd forgotten who I was. We were absolutely horrified. Katara sinks to her knees. I can't believe this. Sokka, I always knew the Fire Lord was a bad guy, but his plan is just pure evil. Me, it's worse than that, Sokka. It's history being repeated. Fire Lord Sozin used Sozin's comet to cause the genocide of the air nomads, causing the air nomads to teeter on the razor's edge of extinction. Now Oze plans to do the same to the Earth Kingdom and cause the genocide of the Earth Kingdom. Oze is now a homicidal megalomaniacal tyrant. The devil himself in human form. What am I gonna do? Zuko stands up from his rock seat and walks to Ong. I know you're scared, and I know you're not ready to save the world, but if you don't defeat the Fire Lord before the comet comes, there won't be a world to save anymore. Why didn't you tell me about your dad's crazy plan sooner? Walks away. Zuko, I didn't think I had to. I assumed you were still going to fight him before the comet. No one told me you decided to wait. Holding his head with both hands. This is bad. Sinks down to his knees. This is really, really bad. Me, it's worse. Katara, you don't have to do this alone. Toph, Zuko, Sokka, and Suki stand next to Katara. Toph, yet, if we all fight the Fire Lord together, we got a shot at taking him down. Me, and you have us as well on. Team Loud Phoenix Storm will never abandon friends in need. Everyone stood by me. Thanks guys. Thank you. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the capital of the Fire Nation, Azula arrived and she stood before her father. Azula, pants. Sorry I'm late, father. Good palanquin bearers are so hard to come by these days. So, is everything ready for our departure? Oze, facing the ship. There has been a change of plans, Azula. Azula, worried. What? Oze, I've decided to lead the fleet of airships to Sing Se alone. You will remain here in the Fire Nation. Azula, but I thought we were going to do this together. Oze, my decision is final. Azula, you can't treat me like this. Rising. You can't treat me like Zuko. Oze, Azula, silence yourself. Azula, but it was my idea to burn everything to the ground. I deserve to be by your side. Oze, Azula. She bows her head. Listen to me. I need you here to watch over the homeland. It's a very important job that I can only entrust to you. Azula, really? Oze, and for your loyalty, I've decided to declare you the new Fire Lord. Azula, Fire Lord Azula? It does seem appropriate, but what about you? Oze, Fire Lord Oze is no more. Just as the world will be reborn in fire, I shall be reborn as the supreme ruler of the world. 3 fire sages help Oze put on his new royal garments. From this moment on, I will be known as. Raises his arms in the air the Phoenix King. Servants pull up the Phoenix emblem behind Oze. Soldiers raise the Phoenix flags beside the Fire Nation flags. 2 more soldiers firebend into the base of the flagpole, causing fire to shoot out at the sides. The crowd bows before their new king. The camera cuts to Oze and zooms out. The reign of Phoenix King Ozai has just begun. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Back at the beach we were getting our weapons ready and suddenly there was buzzing and we saw a bead rail. Nico, is that a bead rail? Me, it sure is. Go for it man. Nico fired a blast of lightning at it and weakened it and he threw a pokeball and caught it. The red light went off and he caught it. We rested and waited. On the night when Sozin's comet arrives we got ready. Me, okay here's what we're gonna do for our attack plan. Oze is going to attack the Earth Kingdom using the power of Sozin's comet from a fleet of airships led by him. Me, Nico, Naruto, Sasuke, Aline, Tyranny, Ong, Shocker, Rhino, Poison Ivy, and Clayface are gonna go destroy Oze. Sokka. You, Toph, Suki, Lincoln, Lainey, Lola, Bisley, B.J, Teresa, and Demona will destroy the Fire Nation airships and send them crashing into the ground. Ian, you and the rest will face Azula and stop her coronation as Fire Lord from happening. Ian, you got it JD. Zuko, let do it. Me, Sozin's comet arrives in 4 hours. Let's move. We set out for the final battle. Nicole, this is it guys. Sozin's comet is the decisive factor that will decide the fate of the world. We were on our way. Sozin's comet then entered the planet's atmosphere and it turned into a massive fireball that lit up the night sky with a hellish fiery glow. It looked like another sun as it streaked across the sky. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Part 1, Agila. Ian and the others were flying to the Fire Nation capital. They arrived just as Agila was about to become Fire Lord. Fire Sage, by decree of Phoenix King Oze, I now crown you Fire Lord. But he stopped as they saw Ian and the others. Zuko, sorry, but you're not going to become Fire Lord today. Jumps off Appa, I am. Agila, mocking laughter, you're hilarious. Katara, and you're going down. Francis, to evil Agila, you know, back when the meta breed was still active, Eben killed people on occasion. But as much as a jerk as he was, he never stooped to murdering whole civilizations of people. I guess that makes him more honorable than your so-called father. Evil Agila, so what? Are you saying that somehow, my father is worse than this Eben? Francis, Eben never made me, Maria, Adam, and Teresa commit mass genocide. Evil Agila, sarcastically of course not. He just made you four criminals as well as his accomplices. Francis, yeah, well, at least we never tried to bring down an entire kingdom from the inside. Ian fired a blast of fire and blew her into the wall with a powerful explosion. Agila got up. Ian, I will never forgive you for everything you've done to this world and my father. Ian spread her wings of fire. Ian, and no Agni Kai will be needed this time. It's a fight to the death. Ian fired a huge blast of fire at her and Agila dodged it and fired a powerful blast of blue fire and Ian fired a powerful blast of lightning and it hit by Agila and she flew at her at a blazing speed and she formed a sword of pure fire and slashed Agila in the face and she screamed in pain. Ian kicked her in the face and punched her in the stomach. Agila backed away and fired a huge blast of lightning and Ian did the same and her blast of lightning overtook Agila's and it hit her and electrocuted her. The lightning blew her back and sent her crashing into the wall. Ino, let's get her guys. Ino concentrated and her power was enhanced because of Sozin's comet and she did some stances and fired a huge blast of fire at Agila. Agila dodged it and she was laughing maniacally at an insane level. Nicole, she is completely censored up. Fu, what a beast. Sakura, cherry blossom clash. Sakura punched the ground and upheaved it and slammed Agila into the air. Ian, let's use our combo Katara. Katara? Right. Ian fired a blast of fire and Katara fired a blast of water. Ian and Katara, steam smokescreen assault. The blasts combined and turned into a smokescreen of steam and Ian and Katara punched and pulverized Agila all over the place. Hinata, she's within my range. 8 trigrams 512 water palms. Hinata jabbed Agila with 512 strikes at Agila and blocked all her chi points. Ian, father, it's combo time. Zuko, you got it. Ian and Zuko fired blasts of fire. Ian and Zuko, Firestorm Death Phoenix. The blasts of fire turned into a powerful phoenix of pure fire and they went at Agila. Agila saw the phoenix coming and she dodged it. Jean Grey activated the phoenix force and fired huge blasts of fire at Agila. She shielded herself in blue fire and blocked the blasts as Ian kicked her in the back. Waspinator terrorize. Waspinator transformed and fired his stinger gun and laser eyes. The attacks exploded by Agila. Snake Man, search Snake. Snake Man fired snake missiles that went after Agila like heat-seeking missiles and they hit her and exploded. Shago fired blasts of green fire. Fu fired blasts of wind and gold exploding dust. Akiko fired stellar dust. Juri fired water. Yamako fired bones and Natsumi fired blasts of fire. Carrie slashed Agila and Francis fired blasts of fire at her. Ink slammed her ink whip into Agila and Rhino rammed her. Waspinator used Final Smash. Beehive Sting Explosion. Waspinator fired a barrage of stingers from his gun and they hit by Azula and exploded by her and they blew her into the wall and Katara chained her down. Shago, my turn. Green fire storm front. Shago fired a tremendous blast of green fire at Azula and burned her face badly. Azula was badly beaten. She then went ballistic and fired blue fire from her mouth as she screamed in sheer insanity. Azula's reign of terror was completely destroyed before it even began. She had completely lost everything, including her mind and her sanity. Ian, now to put this witch out of her misery forever. Normally I don't kill insane people, but in this kind of case I'm more than willing to make an exception. Ian walked up to Azula and she looked at her with pure retributive justice. Ian, Azula, you have used fear all your life to control people and your heart is as black as the darkness of hell in its entirety, and for that you must answer for your crimes when you meet your maker. I will never forgive you for everything you and Oze have done. You and your father will never terrorize our world ever again and you will never be welcome here. Ian fired an enormous blast of fire at Azula and completely incinerated her in an instant. All that was left of Azula was a charred skeleton. Ian, go to hell, Azula, and stay there, you witch. Ino, Azula was one screwed up woman. Sakura, her own father turned her into a homicidal psychopath. Hinata, she had absolutely no love for anyone other than herself. Fu, what a monster. Akiko, no kidding. Ami, but she deserved it. Katara, she completely brought all this on herself. Zuko, my sister died long ago. She was dead to me long before I was even banished. Azula's spirit appeared and Nicole sealed her into the Book of Vile Darkness. Nicole, never terrorize this world again. Suddenly there was a massive explosion in the sky and they saw Sozin's comet completely obliterated in an instant. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Part 2. Oze. 20 minutes earlier in the Wolong Forest in the Earth Kingdom, we were waiting for Oze to show up. We saw the fleet of airships show. Me, there they are. Nico, yep. Suzuki, he will never terrorize this world again. Me, no he won't. I go Super Angel 50,000 Phoenix Fire. Nico went Super Saiyan 4. Ong sent Earth Slaps and they slammed into Oze's airship and destroyed the engines and he fired fire at the ship and it came down. Me, this is it. Oze came to us flying with fire as jet thrusters on his feet. Me, Oze. We meet again. Nico, now you will pay. Me, but first. Combo time. Nico, right. I charge up a Big Bang attack and Nico charged up a Big Bang crash. Me and Nico, crashing Big Bang attack. We fired the energy blast at Sozin's comet and Oze saw this and he was shocked and enraged. Oze, what? No. 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 The energy blast hit Sozin's comet and exploded with incredible power. Crab. The explosion was so powerful and so devastating that it was felt all throughout the planet. The shockwaves from the explosion reverberated down to the planet and shook the very foundation of the planet. When the smoke cleared, Sozin's comet had been completely obliterated in an instant and there was nothing left of it. Oze was horrified. Oze, do you have any idea what you have just done? You ruined the Fire Nation. Me, you don't deserve to be the ruler of anything. Under the cover of the explosion that obliterated Sozin's comet, Lincoln, Laney, and the others destroyed the rest of the airships and the Beedrill had a hand in doing it. He skewered all of the airships and popped them. Ong then suddenly went into the Avatar state and he was enveloped in a ball of air and he had rings of fire, water, and stones orbit around him in an atomic formation. Me, let's get him. We went at Oze and he was completely overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of our skills and powers and he wasn't even getting a chance to fight back. Teresa fired a sonic blast at Oze and he screamed in pain. Biza fired a blast of water at him and it sent him crashing into the rock pillars. Bowser Jr. was riding his clown car and it had boxing glove fists and punched Oze everywhere. Lainey tied him up in bramble vines and slammed him into the rock pillars. Lola fired blasts of fire and Lincoln fired lightning and Earth fired globs of lava at Oze. Poison Ivy called a bunch of Venus fly traps and they chewed him up and spit him out. Demona kicked and punched Oze all over the place. Suzuki fired blasts of fire and lightning at him and Naruto smashed and slashed him with Rasen Shuriken. Clayface pounded Oze with a mace fist and Shocker fired lightning and Tyranny fired fire at him. Me, combo time. I fired a blast of earth and Ong fired a blast of wind. Me and Ong. Earth wind starstorm. The wind turned the stones into ninja stars and they hit the stone pillars and shattered them and nearly buried Oze. Nico, my turn. Nuova star. Nico fired a fireball and Ong fired numerous streams of fire. Nico and Ong. Firestorm Death Comet. The fire streams merged with the fireball and turned into a deadly comet and it hit Oze and exploded and burned him in a huge explosion. Oze got up and Ong was completely overwhelming Oze with the sheer ferocity of the Avatar state's power and he was completely no match against the power of the Avatar. Ong then enveloped Oze in water and slammed him into a pillar of rock and then he anchored him with rock. Ong, otherworldly voice. Fire Lord Ozai, you and your forefathers have devastated the balance of this world, and now, you shall pay the ultimate price. Me, and that price is your life. Ong sent a spear made of water, earth, fire, and air at Oze but he cancelled the technique out. Me, let us finish this Ong. Ong, you got it JD. Ong flew away and I pinned Oze down with energy rings. Me, let's finish him off Nico. Nico, you got it. Me, Oze, your crimes are completely unforgivable and for the evil crimes and horrible deeds you and your family have done to this world and its people, you will pay the ultimate price. Nico, and we never want to see you here again. Burn in hell. Me, cups hands to side, K-A-A-A-A-A-A. Me. H-A-A-A-A-A-A-A. Me. Nico, final shine attack. Me. Hey a a a a a a a a a a. I fired a red Kamehameha wave and Nico fired a green energy wave. The blasts combined and they hit Oze head on and exploded with incredible power. Crab. Oze was completely obliterated in an instant. When the smoke cleared, the Wolong forest was now a massive crater in the landscape. Oze is now dead. Me, go to hell and stay there Oze. Nico, now Oze has failed this world. Me, yep. We all regrouped and Nicole sealed Oze's spirit into the Book of Vile Darkness. In the ruined Fire Nation capital, everyone from all over the world gathered. Zuko was now being coronated as Fire Lord. Families were reunited after so much fighting. We recently discovered that Suki has a new form of bending called shadow bending, a never-before-seen form of elemental bending that enables her to control the powers of darkness. It's a brand new bending style. Katara and Sokka were reunited with their father Hellcat and he was so proud of everything they have done to save the world from total destruction. Me. So you are Katara and Sokka's dad? Hellcat, I sure am JD. You all saved us from a terrible fate. Me, we did what we had to do to save everyone. I'm so sorry about what happened to Kia and the Southern Water Tribe. But I think I can return what you lost during that time. I snapped my fingers and a swirl of water formed and out came Kia, mother of Sokka and Katara fully resurrected. Kia saw them and it was a joyous reunion. Katara, Sokka, and Hellcat were a happy family again. Zuko came out and we cheered as he came. Zuko, please. The real hero is the Avatar. Ong came out too and I sensed that Ong and Katara had feelings for each other. Zuko, today, this war is finally over. Everyone cheered. After 100 long years, the Great War is finally over. Zuko, I promised my uncle that I would restore the honor of the Fire Nation and I will. The road ahead of us is challenging. 100 years of fighting has left the world scarred and divided. But with the Avatar's help, we can get it back on the right path, and begin a new era of love and peace. Zuko knelt down and the Fire Sage was behind him. Fire Sage, all hail Fire Lord Zuko. Zuko was now adorned with a fire crest head decoration and he was now Fire Lord. He had now taken his rightful place as the true Fire Lord. Me, congratulations Zuko. Zuko, thank you JD. It was thanks to all of you that you saved all of us and made me realize what I became. Me, I'm glad we were able to help you all. What Oze and Azula have done to this world was completely unforgivable and we couldn't let them get away with everything they did. Zuko, I know. Afterwards, the road to recovery was a long one. We also brought Ursa, Azula, and Zuko's mother back. I merged both our worlds and counterparts and we left the simulator and everyone cheered wildly. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We were resting in the living room and having fun. I was playing Pi Show with Iro. I never played it before but it looked interesting. It was very similar to Chinese checkers. Azula was playing with Nico's new stunt icon Transformers action figures. Zuko and Azula were happily reunited with Ursa. Sokka was painting a picture. Sokka, Zuko, stop moving. I wanted to do a painting so we'd always remember the good times together. Katara, that's very thoughtful of you Sokka. Katara looked at the painting and she noticed something wrong. Katara, wait, why did you give me Momo's ears? Sokka, those are your hair Lupus. Everyone else came over. Zuko, at least you don't look like a porcupine. My hair is not that spiky. I look like a man. Suki, and why did you paint me firebending? I looked at the painting. I think he did a great job and he did do his best. Lola, so what if he's not a good artist like Lainey is? Besides, it's the thought that counts. Yet. Lainey, that's true. We've been through so much on all kinds of adventures. We sure have JD. I know. But none of your adventures pale in comparison to everything we have done over the last 3 years. Lin, no kidding JD. We've done it all. And there's still more adventures to come. William, I hope you don't mind being a member of the Redemption Squad with Azula, Zuko. Zuko, of course not. I'm actually looking forward to being in combat on the field again. That's good Zuko. Shago, it sure is. To the viewers, this was the most action-packed adventure we ever had. It was truly a clash of the elemental forces of nature. It sure was Shago. Aang and Katara went outside for some fresh air and they hugged and it was Katara's way of saying thank you for everything Aang. Then we got a surprise when we saw Katara kissing Aang and it was so romantic and we were so happy for them. Zuko and Mai are gonna get married soon and Ian now not only has Blaze as her biological mother but also Mai as well. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete. Avatar: The Last Airbender was the most awesome show ever created by Nickelodeon from February 21st, 2005 to July 19th, 2008 and it was an awesome show. Greg Baldwin took Mako's place as Iroh in Season 3 after Mako died in 2006. It was just hard to imagine that the Fire Nation did all those horrible things over the course of 138 years until the beginning of Zuko's reign and he set the Fire Nation on the right path. Azula was turned into a homicidal psychopath because of Oze and he and Azula did all kinds of horrible crimes to the world which left it forever scarred and it would take decades for the world to recover from the savage and brutal onslaught of the war. But the most horrible crime of all committed during the war was the genocide of the air nomads and that was by far the most evil and most despicable crime of all. Everyone but Avatar Aang was wiped out. Zach Tyler Eisen, Mae Whitman, Jack DeSena, Jesse Flower, Dante Bosco, D. Bradley Baker, Jenny Kwan, Mako, Greg Baldwin, Gray Delisle, and Mark Hamill all did a great job in the series and it was awesome. Nico Chan 11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks man as usual, and I came up with some more ideas. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time. Avatar: The Last Airbender is owned by Michael Dante DiMartino, Brian Konietzko, and Nickelodeon.